It's time to mind your business with me, Jamila Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.
Hello. Welcome to the Mind Your Business podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I want to welcome Keile Rabain of Summer by Keile to the podcast. And today we're going to talk a little bit about your business, how you got started, and let's just give a little introduction first. Who are you?
Sure. So my name is Keile. I am an artist and designer and the owner and founder of Summer by Keile.
Love it. What is Summer by Keile?
So Summer by Keile is essentially a swimwear and apparel brand with a strong focus on sustainability, artistry, and quality.
What made you start that?
It started off as kind of like an experiment.
Yeah.
I had made this design because I have a BA in art, so I'm like an artist primarily.
Yeah.
And I made this design, and it was just kind of like this graphic design for a t-shirt, which I sold to someone.
Okay.
And like featured on the shirt design was like two girls in like $100 bill inspired bikini. And I was like, that's actually really cute. But I was like, I've sold this design to somebody. What if somebody tries to like steal it? So I'm like, okay, let me just like see what I could do. I launched with one pink bikini.
Okay.
Just to like see if anyone would be interested. It ended up selling out. And then I like started releasing like color after color, kind of like the way that Telfar was doing at one point.
Okay.
They were like releasing individual colors and then like selling them out. And then it just kind of blossomed into its own thing. Okay. So originally it was under Art by Keile, but I decided that like, you know, my art practice is just something that's completely different.
Okay.
Whereas I wanted Summer by Keile to be its own thing.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the product line offering that Summer by Keile has. Is it just bikinis?
So at the moment we have bikinis and one pieces. I have like a new exclusive one piece that's coming out really soon.
All right.
It's super cute. It's in collaboration with another artist.
Okay.
And I also have towels and bucket hats.
Oh, wow.
And then with, like, each order, everyone gets, like, little stickers, which people have been, like, constantly asking me to, like, sell the stickers separately. So I may start offering stickers soon, but that's where I'm at the moment.
I love it. So where do you get inspiration behind all your designs?
So with the print is my own version of the Bermuda $100 bill.
Okay, so all the swim has that sort of same print on it?
Yeah, they all have that same sort of print on it. So the way I was thinking of it is like, you know how Louis Vuitton monogram is just like, you know that's them.
Yes, it's iconic. Yep.
So the way that I wanted it to be something where it was like, you would know that it was mine when you saw it, but like I didn't want it to be limited to like one color.
Okay, got it.
So...
All right. So why the money? Where'd that come from?
So I think originally it was from when I had done the initial design that I had sold for the graphic t-shirt just because I thought it would be so cute. So then I hadn't like redrawn anything. It was just literally the bills as they were.
Okay.
But moving forward, just like continuing to use the $100 bill and in the back of my own mind being a symbol of something that I'm trying to use to create wealth for myself. And also like the value of the $100 bill and the fact that we are the most expensive country in the world. So it's just a mixture of things. Really.
Okay, it's very interesting. It's something new that you see on the market. What else makes your swimwear apparel unique?
I would say what makes this very unique is that I am like very particular about the suppliers that we use because the fashion industry, like fast fashion, is very prominent right now. And I always thought that like if I were to do something, I would want to do it right in terms of like, I know that I'm just like a small drop in a really large pool, but at least like, you know, I know in the back of my mind that I'm trying to go about things as ethically and as sustainably as possible. Right. So I work with a very small company in London, and everything's based in one location.
Okay.
And they are like very focused on their waste policies and just like, making sure that people are paid correctly and that the fabric is made with like ethical inks.
Right.
Because that's a whole thing within itself. And yeah.
I've never heard of ethical inks. Can you elaborate a little bit?
So essentially with a lot of mass production, there is places like in third world countries where they're mass producing fabrics, and the ink is kind of running off into their supply chains, like their water supply.
Okay, gotcha.
So whereas with the small team that I'm working at in London, like they
make sure
cognizant of that. And they also try to use inks that are like not as harmful to the environment.
Okay, I got it.
And then, so they also try to use recycled fabrics as much as possible, and they're all made to order. So it's not like I have like loads, like there's a warehouse full of my fabric. It's kind of made as you go.
Why is it important for business owners like yourself to think sustainably like that, and then also for customers to learn more about where their products are coming from?
I think because we all just have this one planet that we're all sharing. And I know it's the harder thing to do. Like, it would be so much easier and so much more convenient if I just went about it, like, a bit easier and just, like, it's just getting produced. Like, I don't have to think about that. But, like, the climate crisis that we're going through, I think it's really easy to ignore that. But... our daily habits are a part of that problem.
Yeah.
So just like, buying hauls all the time and just like buying swim. Like I'm even, someone who in the past has like bought swim where it's like, okay, I'm just going to wear this once. Right. Whereas with Summer by Keile, I really do my best to make swimwear that I know that people are going to continue to wear over and over again. Not just because it's quality, but just because they like love the design and they love the feeling that they have when they have it on.
Yeah, I love that. And it's really important to just keep remembering, right, that we each have a job to do in protecting our planet, I guess.
Definitely. Like, even if it's just, like, in a little way. Like,
exactly.
I know it's just, it's not a huge thing, and I do hope that it grows into something that is bigger, but it's just, like, a small little...
Yeah, but if a billion people do a lot of small actions, right, it turns into a billion small actions, which ultimately is big.
Yeah.
It's definitely big for us and big for the planet, and especially in Bermuda as well. We are by ourselves in the ocean, and we have to be very cognizant about taking care of our surroundings because we don't have much of it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So your brand caters to men and women of all shapes and sizes, which is cool to see. How do you approach that when you're designing as far as like being inclusive?
I would say in terms of how I approach it is that I try to get as much feedback as possible. Like, so I'm very interactive with my customers. I'm actually at the moment working with a customer right now to create like a different type of one piece that she felt she would feel the most comfortable in.
Okay.
And I think because it's just like me kind of doing everything, it can be kind of a lot to handle. But even in the midst of just like my simple triangle bikini, like it goes up to a 3XL. Whereas most companies, like, you're only getting like a large or a double, like a XL, if that. Like it's pretty difficult to find like 2X plus.
Right.
And I really love that, like, I'm able to provide that to people.
Okay.
But I would say it's definitely a work in progress. Like, I'm learning as I go because I'm pretty much, like, designing and making everything myself. But I try to get as much feedback from my customers as possible.
And tell us a little bit about that process, you making everything yourself. Like, what is that like?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So I would say, like, if we're talking like step by step, like you've got a pattern, and then you cut it out, and then you sew it. That sounds super simple, the way that I'm saying it, but that's pretty much the gist of it.
Okay.
At the moment.
And you do custom design?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about that. Can I come to you and say, I want this, this, and that? and we just go from there?
I would say this summer I'm doing it even more so, just because I really am like happy when I get to like do something that's like completely
unique.
Different for somebody, and knowing that they're like so happy with it. Like I love that. But so essentially lately customers have just been contacting me and just being like, you know, is this something that you think that you could do? Or I'll send them options of things that I think that I know that I could do.
Right.
And then we'll just like kind of go from there. And if they want like a custom color option or anything like that, it's workable.
Yeah, that's great. I love that you can get something completely unique, especially in Bermuda. We always like to get our own thing, right? You don't want to have the same swimsuit on as somebody else at the raft up, you know? Yeah. I know that you're trying to get into children's as well. So right now you just do men and women, but tell us a little bit about your future plans for kids line.
For kids wear? I would say with kids wear, I am debating going into manufacturing, like on a larger scale. So I'm currently in communication with like a small team, like another small team from my fabric supplier in London, trying to work out something there, because I do want to be able to cater to the babies, but I think that with the babies, they need more than, I mean, we all need more than swim. But, like, I just think with them, I'd like to offer something a bit larger.
Okay.
And for that brand, I actually had started a new Instagram page. It's called For the Utes.
Oh, nice.
So I think it's going to be something completely different, because I don't want, like, parents to be going on, like, Summer by Keile and, like, possibly seeing something that's not like super kid friendly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's looking like it's likely gonna have to be its own thing, just so that I'm not overly blurring lines of like what's appropriate. And I don't want like a young teen to have to go onto like Summer by Keile, for example, and like, you know, see everybody in bikinis and then maybe be like, okay, like where's the kid stuff? And it's just like sprinkled in there. Like I think that it probably needs to be its own little thing.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any plans to expand outside of swimwear for men and women?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
I really hope to.
Okay. Yeah. What would you do?
I'm definitely interested in continuing to make pieces that are like timeless, in terms of just like, it's not something that you're just gonna have and then wear it like a couple times. Like, I feel like that's really normal in like today, where it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna buy an outfit for this one event. Right. Like I think with expanding into like different categories, definitely like everyday loungewear, and then definitely like everyday like office wear, like just like cute little sets that it's just like makes sense and you would just like have forever, because it's just like a staple.
Okay, great. Yeah. There's so much happening, and like I love that you have so many plans, so many goals. How do you manage it all?
I don't know. How do I manage it all? That's a great question.
Because you're designing, you're sewing, you're putting everything together, and then you have to market yourself,
and then I have to market, and then there's like finance and all sorts of things. I would say right now I've almost slowed down a little bit. I would say that I was pushing Summer by Keile a lot more last year. I do have a launch that's coming up really soon, but it's like I am trying to slow down just a little bit so that it's not overwhelming, and so that I can figure out how to grow without like drowning myself in the process.
Without completely burning out. That's important. You have to have that like work-life balance.
Definitely.
Are there any strategies that you would recommend or that you use in order to do that, or are you still working on it?
I would say definitely a work in progress for me, because it's even funny, like, sometimes when I'm just, like, looking through my camera roll, and it's, like, there's nothing of me in here. Like, it's entirely Summer by Keile stuff.
Yeah, all work.
And I'm, like, because, like, I'm trying to, like, find, like, a new profile picture or something. And I'm, like, it's nothing of me in here right now. And that's, I've got to work on that. So I would say, if you have any recommendations, let me know.
For sure. What has been the biggest challenge that you've faced in running the business?
I would say the biggest challenge has been finding someone. So when I initially launched Summer by Keile, when it was just Art by Keile. Still, I had someone else making the bikinis.
Okay.
And then she ended up moving overseas, so she wasn't able to make them anymore. So I think that she had told me that maybe in, like, August.
Okay.
And then from, like, August until, like, March, like, I kept putting out feelers for, like, seamstresses who I could possibly work with, because, like, at that same time, I'm still super, super small scale. So, like, I'm not ready to go into, like, huge manufacturing just yet. And plus that costs a lot of money as well. And then also keeping in mind, like, trying to keep things as environmentally friendly as possible. So, like, it would have been easy to just, like, go on Alibaba and find, like, a quick little, like, that would have been quite simple. But I think, I don't know why I, like, make myself do things the hard way sometimes.
Well, you want to stay true to your mission, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I was looking until, like, March, trying to find someone, and I just could not find anyone. So I kind of, like, forced myself to learn how to sew.
Okay, so you hadn't done this before.
No.
Wow. Okay.
So if you, like, were to look on my page, like, the first Summer by Keile shoot that I did, like, when it wasn't Art by Keile, Summer by Keile, and it's, like, a girl in a purple bathing suit and another girl in, like, the multicolored, like, yellow bathing suit. Like, those two were the first bathing suits I had ever made to completion.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because, like, it's crazy. So, like, in the midst of, like, trying to teach myself how to sew, the thread kept breaking. So, like, I'm, like, in my studio, like, crying, like, oh, my God, I don't know what to do. And, like, my dad came over, and he was just like, you know, let's find someone to help you. So then I went to this really lovely woman. Her name is slipping me right now. But she was like, okay, let me try to sew on your machine and maybe see, like, what the issue that you're having is. Because, like, it's like, you know, what is the problem? So she started sewing, and then the thread, like, with me, it just snapped.
Okay.
And she's like, this is weird. So she was, like, sewing, and then it snapped again. And she was like, your thread is rotten.
I didn't know thread could rot.
I didn't know thread could rot either.
Okay, interesting.
I didn't know thread could rot either. And I was thinking, like, maybe it's the tension, because there's actually, like, a bunch of different aspects to a sewing machine. Like, I didn't know. But she was just like, no, it's your thread is the problem. So it's, like, all this time, like, I'm thinking, like, what is wrong with me? Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, it was literally the thread.
Just the thread.
So once she changed the thread, like, it's just been, like, nonstop since then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you really just dove into it and just...
It was crazy because, like, after all of those months of not being able to find anybody, I was just like, just leave it. Like, just it was a cute little moment. Let it be what it was. Like, we don't have to stress ourselves out about this. But, like, I remember I had gone somewhere, I think it was, like, to the ag show, and this woman was there, and she was like, are you having bikinis this year? And I was like, and I think I was just, like, crying earlier that morning, and I was like, I feel like I need to figure this out. Like, something had to give. Eventually it gave. So.
Well, it's working out so far, right?
Yeah.
But how do you balance, like, the creative aspect and the business aspect? Because I know as creatives, it's hard to always just pump things out at the rate that it needs to, but 100%. Still maintain your creativity and 100%. What you want to do, right?
I would say even, like, with Art by Keile, that was an issue that I was really having, where I was just like, I'm not a machine. Like, I get it, but, like, I'm not a machine. Like, and I think that creativity actually really takes a lot out of you.
It does.
From your literal heart, because you're just putting things out there and you're just, like, hoping like somebody likes it, and that is really scary sometimes. So funnily enough, Summer by Keile was my way of kind of, like, creating something that didn't take too much creativity from me, but I was still able to be creative, whereas like a painting, it's just so, like, you're just, like, for hours and hours and hours and hours just pouring your time into that one thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Summer by Keile was kind of just, like, fun, and I was just like, like, I could just, like, make bikinis, like, different color bikinis. Like, because I had made the initial print, and I was like, this is going to be, like, my Louis Vuitton print. Like, this is, like, I can keep remaking this one thing in the same color.
Yeah.
So it was just, in that sense, really easy to be creative with it because it didn't require, I would say, as much like creative energy as like a painting would,
Yeah.
per se. But like in terms of like the business side of it, I would say the business side is definitely something that's like been a learning curve where I'm just like taking it step by step. Like I think that I'm doing okay. I feel like I like my mom was an entrepreneur, so I always kind of grew up in that type of home where like work was always kind of going on in some sort of sense, and like I was her personal assistant from like a really young age. So like I understood the business side of it, and it's so funny when I was applying for university and I applied for an art course, she was like, do a business art course, like do both. Like I wish I had done both because it like I feel like I could have been even further ahead by now. But I would say like with the business side, I'm definitely like still learning as I go, for sure.
But I love that your business still helps you regenerate that creative battery.
Oh, right? Yeah, definitely. And I have so much fun. Like I have so much fun with like Summer by Keile shoots and just like planning things.
Yeah.
I would say maybe like the least fun part is that like, okay, this is great. Like we're gonna do all these shoots and stuff. Who's making everything? Me. Like I like, okay, yay, we're gonna do this and this and this and that. Okay, well I also have to make it all, and then I have to make the customer orders, and then like I just recently did masks for Juve for the first time because I made myself a mask last year. I didn't go this year, but I was like, maybe the people will like them.
Yeah.
And I didn't have access to my sewing machine for a couple days, so I kind of had like, I would say like 3 real days to like push out like 50 plus orders.
Oh wow.
And it was like, it was great in theory, but once it came down to the fact that I've like not eaten or slept because I'm just like sewing, and it's so hard for me to say no. So like after I'm like, guys, they're done on the website, like it's over. Like people are still like hitting me up, and then it would be like a friend or like, you know, like my sister's friend, and I'm just like, oh, I guess so.
You gotta get that work-life balance, Keile.
I know. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Take my dog for a walk later.
It's hard. It's hard. Can you describe what a typical day as the owner of Summer by Keile looks like?
I would say a typical day, I am coming in to the studio or the office because I've been working here lately, and I'm checking what orders I need to make, and then some days I just cut, and then some days I will cut and sew. I would say it's definitely longer to like cut and sew in the same day, just because cutting can take a lot of time. Like I would say that sewing is actually the really fast part. It's everything else that can kind of take time. And then if like, you know, for example, I've got they're all different sizes and all different colors, so it's just convenient in terms of like, you know, if I put all of the orders already cut into the bags, and then I'm like, okay, when I'm ready to sew, I'll sew. And then there's also like the Instagram. I try to like be interactive with the people, my SBK bays, which I call them. And then there's always like a new design to work on. Right now I'm working on towels because my dad is like obsessed with this towel that I have, because I have towels. I recently did like a double-sided towel. Cool. Very, very, very nice in theory, but it's just kind of difficult to dry yourself with. So it's almost like a perfect beach blanket though. But he really loves the towels. He's had them since before they were like available to the people, to the public, and he wants to do like the different Eastern County teams. So like right now I'm working on like the designs for that, and then
imagine that'll be popular.
It should be nice. I hope that people like it. And then he was like, well, we have to do cut match colors. And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously.
Of course. Yes, absolutely.
I can't really do Eastern County. And then even though, like, for people like us, like Cleveland's fan, like, Eastern County is better than cut match anyway. But, yeah.
So you are participating in BDC's Enterprise Bermuda Incubator Program. What made you sign up for it?
So I think I learned about it on Instagram. I'm, like, a really big, like, I love learning. So, like, anything that's going to help me to be better, and especially in terms of business, because as we've spoken about already, like, I'm first, like, an artist anyway, so it's, like, the creativity part, like, I've pretty much
You've
got it. Like,
Yep.
that's pretty much in me already.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, business is something that you really have to, like, learn as you go.
Yeah.
So with the incubator program, I was just really interested in, like, the offerings that you guys have in terms of, like, learning, and then office space, and then networking, and just kind of really emerging myself more into the world of business. And you guys already work with, like, the BEDC in general.
Yeah.
Already works with a lot of amazing entrepreneurs. And I've been to some of the courses and events beforehand, like, before joining the program. So I just thought, like, it seemed like a no-brainer.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're getting stuff out of it.
Yeah.
How has it helped you grow Summer by Keile?
I would say it's helped in terms of just, like, giving me a really great space to work out of. I think that when you're working from home, like, we've already spoken about the fact that I'm struggling with work-life balance.
Yes.
So it's like, if I'm working out of my home studio, it's, like, even more so difficult to, like, cross, like, you know, blur those lines.
Yeah.
So it's just, like, kind of giving me that space, and then also, like, the environment just being, like, really positive, and just feeling like, you know, you're around people who are creating, like, real change.
Yeah, and then sometimes you just have to separate home and work, right?
Yeah.
Home and business, and getting into a different environment is often very helpful, and sometimes that's just all you need, right?
Yeah,
or just going
definitely.
for a walk and taking a break and coming back to it.
Definitely.
So I'm glad the program has helped you do that. Can you describe any other specific skills or knowledge that you've gained from being in the program so far?
I would say through, like, the phase 1 of the program, just kind of helping me to hone in on, like, my value proposition, and, like, what parts of Summer by Keile are uniquely valuable to my target audience. And then when we did the presentation, I got a lot of great feedback. And, like, just, like, even one of the feedback just being something that was already in the back of my mind, and, like, making me remember that, because it can be, like, when you are doing everything yourself, you can kind of get lost in it, and it's hard to see the bigger picture. So I think that, like, stuff like this helps you to just be like, yes, like, you do have 100 orders to do, but, like, you have to think about it, like, bigger picture, and also, is this really what you want? Like, is this really effective? Do you need to be doing 100 orders a week? Like, maybe not. Like, you have to be able to step outside of just being in the business and actually work on the business instead of working in the business, right? Exactly.
You have to be the owner.
Exactly, right, because at this point, I'm not just the owner, I'm also the employee.
Exactly.
So it's like, those are two completely different roles.
Yeah.
So you have to, like, realize that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. How has the networking aspect of the program benefited your business?
I would say the networking program has benefited in terms of just, like, not feeling so, like, lonely. Like, entrepreneurship can feel very lonely.
Yeah,
so it's great to have, like, a community of people that, you know, that you can talk to if you need to.
Yeah. Has it, like, influenced any sort of collaborations or partnerships? Or if not, do you plan on collaborating outside of just yourself with any maybe other creatives on the island?
Yeah. I do have a collaboration coming up with a fellow artist. Her name is Shonzaya Place. So we kind of came together to create a new one piece, which I have mentioned earlier, and just, like, redesigning that staple style. So, like, you know how, like, I was saying, like, with the LV monogram, like, it's very much like they bring in different designers, and everyone has their own interpretation of that.
Yeah.
So this launch that we're gonna be launching, like, in the next couple of days is, like, her interpretation of my design, which we, like, co-designed together.
Love it.
But yeah, this program actually has a lot of amazing entrepreneurs in it, and I know we've mostly been online at the moment, but I'm looking forward to, like, the next phase where we're, like, way more, like, interactive and in person, so we can all really, like, get to know each other more.
Yeah, and maybe it'll breed more collaborations, more partnerships for you and the other incubatees, which will be great.
Yeah, definitely. I've exchanged information with somebody so far, but yeah, it would be nice to, like, get in the room with everyone again.
Yeah.
Because I think with the presentations, we were all, like, I know I was super nervous. So it was just like, okay, guys, when we're ready, we go, you know, but yeah.
What advice would you give to any entrepreneur that is considering applying for the program?
I would say just do it.
Yeah?
Just do it. Definitely. And I feel like with, like, a lot of things that I do, sometimes I'm, like, one of, like, the youngest people there. And I just think that it is a shame because I feel like a lot of people my age are very entrepreneurial. And I think that I was always raised to be like, use your resources. So it's like, I'm not gonna not use resources if they're available to me, because it's like, why make things harder for yourself? So I would say join. Like learning, you have your entire life to learn. So this is an opportunity to learn.
And absolutely. I think also sometimes people in the creative space don't necessarily think of themselves as entrepreneurs, right? But essentially they're operating as entrepreneurs themselves, doing freelance work. They're taking care of all of their clients. They're booking things. So like it's definitely beneficial to get into a place where that gives you the business mindset so that you can pull 100%. All of that together and ultimately grow and make more money for yourself.
Definitely. And I would say, like, just even when I was just doing art by Keile, like, it's very easy to underprice yourself.
Absolutely.
So I would say, like, when you do come into an environment like this and you are being asked real questions about, like, okay, what's the revenue? What's your overhead? Like, these are things that are important so that when it does come to pricing, you're not underpricing yourself and you're not, like, treading water constantly and just, like, making constantly and just not earning enough back.
Yeah, absolutely. And settings like this give you the confidence to be able to talk about those things with your clients properly and stand behind the prices and the value of your time and the value of your art, right?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we wrap up, I just want to give you the chance to leave us with anything that is going to be coming soon. You talked about a launch. What can people expect to see from you?
So you can expect it's going to be a launch between This Place, that's her brand name, and Summer by Keile. And it's going to be mostly featuring, like, black and white with, like, really strong pops of color. And it's going to be really cute, and I'm really looking forward to it. There are, like I said, there's going to be the towels coming out with the Eastern County teams. I'm so sorry to Western and Central. Should I don't know.
Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future. But I'm definitely an Eastern County girl. And then I'm going to have some custom pieces coming out for Cut Match.
Love it.
So that's going to be great.
Where can people find your stuff?
You can find me on Instagram at Summer by Keile and on summerbykeile.com.
Love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. Super excited. I need to try out swimsuit. Might come to you for a one piece. Yeah. But thank you so much for joining the Mind Your Business podcast, because if you don't mind your business, who will?
Exactly.
All right. Have a good day, Keile.
You too.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamila Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.